let me take this opportunity to welcome all of you again to this workshop on copyright limitation, exceptions for education and the research environment in Ghana. At this time, it's my duty to call on Mr. Pupi to give us the welcome address and then introduce the guest of honor, the special guest of honor for this moment's workshop. Mr. Pupi, round of applause.
Thank you very much, Albert. We've already wasted a lot of time because we are not starting early. So first of all, I'll just give an idea about the whole program and the workshop. 2 years ago, a group of researchers and academics conceived the idea that access to knowledge is crucial for economic development, is crucial for human development, and therefore saw the need that copyright can play an important role in making sure that there is a sustainable human development in the African continent. So as a consequence, a network of 8 countries were formed, and these countries comprise Ghana, Egypt, Mozambique, Kenya, Morocco, Uganda, Senegal, and South Africa. And this network was tasked to look into the copyright regulatory frameworks in the 8 countries and make recommendations for improvement. So in Ghana, we had a team put together, and it comprises myself, Honorable Bami Animoduentri, and our third person, Mrs. Nana Ham, is not here, but we hope to see her pretty soon. The mission of the African Copyright and Access to Knowledge Project, that's ACA2K, is to create a network of African researchers empowered to study the impact of copyright environment on access to learning materials, and to use the evidence generated to enable copyright stakeholders to participate in and engage in evidence-based research for purposes of making suggestions for improvement in our regulatory framework. And the vision of the project is that Africans with our state of economic development will be able to maximize this copyright regime to improve on access to knowledge. So the objective for the project mainly was to document evidence around the interaction between copyright, environment, and access to knowledge, and to enable stakeholders in the study countries to pursue the attainment of copyright environment that maximize this access to knowledge for all. And specifically, to build and network the research capacities of African scholars to examine copyright environments and access to learning materials within Africa and beyond. Secondly, to build research and methodological best practices in African countries around the interaction between copyright and access to learning. Third, to build awareness and conduct policy advocacy around copyright in relation to access in the respective countries. And finally, to build awareness and policy advocacy capacity in the universities where a lot of academic activity take place. And in pursuance of this noble objective, we had 2 organizations that accepted to fund this initiative. And one of them is the International Development Research Center of Canada. It's in Ottawa, Canada. And then the other is Shuttleworth Foundation of South Africa. And we are hereby acknowledging their contribution and their support financially in making sure that this 2-year program runs successfully. And today we are here to launch the report that they have been supporting all this while. Without wasting much time, I will just urge all of you to look at the materials that we have in the brochure, and also visit the website, which is www.aca2k.org, and you can get a lot of materials about Ghana and how we came finally with the report, and then also get the study report of the 7 other countries which I've already mentioned. So at this time, I will just quickly introduce our keynote speaker. The launch of a report such as this deserves a statement or more from a person who has spent the bulk of her life working tirelessly to ameliorate our copyright regulatory framework. Even in times in the past when few people ventured into the terrain of copyright law, Mrs. Petimo Disu served as the copyright administrator of Ghana. She also worked at the Attorney General's Department and rose through the ranks to become Chief State Attorney before she left for the Commonwealth Secretariat. All this while, she also taught at the Faculty of Law, University of Ghana, and we are all proud products of her sharing of her experiences. So we are hereby, I hereby, on behalf of Shuttleworth Foundation and then IPRC Canada, I would like to thank the Attorney General and Minister for Justice for accepting to grace this occasion by delivering the keynote address. So at this time, I want all of us, with a round of applause, to welcome the Honorable Attorney.
Thank you very much. I wonder if my voice is loud enough to carry. It is, yes. It's always a pleasure to be amongst my former students, especially students who have excelled the way this team has, and excelled in an area of the law, in intellectual property law, which is very dear to my own heart personally, because as he said, I worked in it for many years. I now no longer work in copyright. I wish people would realize that what I'm trying to do now is to look at assisting all sectors of the intellectual property field. So, distinguished participants, dear ladies and gentlemen, I'm very privileged to be here today. I think the rain has disrupted several other attendees, but I've always been one to advocate starting something and then others would come in. I think it's a great initiative, and I'm privileged to be able to launch this report on copyright and access to knowledge in Ghana. Let me just say, for my former students, researchers, and conveners of this workshop, I echo for your efforts.
Thank you.
It's not an easy field to be in, as some of us know. But today, the wealth of every nation is measured by the quantum of its intellectual assets rather than by its military might. Intellectual property rights, therefore, have become one of the most important